What truly sets Cedar apart is his reliability and his dedication to this police department. Over the course of the last year, he covered 100% of all of our scheduled events in the village of Lake Orion and elsewhere, including Shop with the Hero, Kids and Cops, Flower Fair, Memorial Day Parade, Jubilee Carnival, Lake Orion Fireworks, the local car show, the Big Rig Gig in the Orion Township, Dragon on the Lake, Lake Orion High School Homecoming Parade, Trunk or Treat event at the local elementary school, the Halloween Extravaganza, and also the Christmas Parade. Cedar consistently represents the department and the village in the highest regard, bringing positivity, professionalism, and a strong camaraderie to our reserve program. His willingness to step up, his team-first mindset, and his consistent presence have made a meaningful impact on both the department and the community that we both serve. Based on these outstanding contributions, Cedar Chan has been selected as the Lake Orion Police Department's 2025 Reserve Officer of the Year, and from myself and the Lake Orion Police Department and the entire Orion community, thank you, Cedar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. I love when a lot of people are here. It's great. It's like a stadium. And with that, we're going to present him with the Reserve Officer of the Year, the 2025 plaque. And this plaque also represents the police department with our badge, and it also has our dragon engraved in the plaque, so we're very proud of this. So thank you, Cedar.
On behalf of the council, we also say thank you. It's people like Cedar who invest in our community and make our community just a wonderful place to be. And I think Chief Admonson is in charge of any and all future awards to ever be given out by the village, because that is really cool looking. So well done on that. So thank you again for all that you invest into this community and the heart and soul you pour into it. We're very grateful. Moving on to call to the public. Any member of the public wishing to address the village council shall be afforded an opportunity to do so. If you wish to comment, please stand, raise your hand to indicate you wish to speak. Your comments are limited to 4 minutes, and direct your comments to the chair. So if there's anything on a non-agenda item, if you're here for an agenda item, there will be time during that agenda item to address that. So is anyone here for a non-agenda item? Yes. So this would be something that's not on the agenda.
So the road, the 26th Street Improvement Program is on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, because my neighbor was told today that it wasn't. We didn't have to come to the meeting because it wasn't on the agenda.
There is a public hearing for the street improvement program.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone for a non-agenda item? Seeing none, I will close call to the public. Item number 6, approval of the agenda. By order of the president, no matters will be discussed after 9:30 p.m. unless the council votes to continue the meeting. Council. Mr. Dandelides.
I was going to propose adding an item to the agenda, and that would be a proposal to adopt a village resolution in opposition to the passage of Michigan House Representative Bills 5529 to 5532, as well as 5581 to 5585 regarding local municipal zoning authority. So you all have gotten a copy of this. My intention was to get this to everybody earlier in the week. For a variety of reasons, that did not happen. We got it this afternoon. So my question is everybody aware of this? Because we can postpone it until 2 weeks from now, if that's better.
Well, I support the amended motion to move it and put it on the next agenda.
Okay, and I'm okay with that.
So it's not on the agenda, so we don't have to have like an amended motion for the agenda, but if that could just be included.
We will place it on the next
Okay.
agenda. In the meantime, we will work to draft a proposed resolution similar to the townships, to try to move things along.
And there's actually a template on the SEMCOG website that we can use also, so thank you.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now will be fine,
Okay.
thanks.
So do I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
So we have a motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are approved by one vote. We have item A, approval of Village Council regular meeting minutes of March 9, 2026. Item B, receive and file DDA regular meeting minutes of February 17, 2026. Item C, approval of elections facility usage agreement of Orion Charter Township and Village of Lake Orion. Item D, budget amendment, administration computer workspace continuation. Item E, receive and file of invoice distribution report for March 24, 2026. Item F, receive and file of Orion Township building permit report for February 24, 2026 to March 10, 2026. Item G, receive and file correspondence requests from Matt Shader. And item H, approval of social district permit Michigan by the bottle. Council. Mr. Lamb.
Item F, I need to make a brief comment.
All right. Mr. Dandelides.
And I would appreciate pulling down item A, and that's the regular meeting minutes from our last meeting, March 9th, please.
Anything else? I'll move to approve the consent agenda with items A and F removed for further discussion.
Support.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item A, approval of Village Council regular meeting minutes of March 9, 2026. Mr. Dandelides.
Thank you. I'm on page 9 of the agenda packet, if anybody wants to follow along. So the numbers that I presented at the last meeting were questioned last week by one of our councilmen as well as one of our residents. So I wanted to restate my numbers and make sure that they are correct. And those were per the January report, and this is the investment report from January 2026. So per the January report, we have an ending balance of over $5 million in our Oxford Bank checking account. Looking at the monthly history for calendar year 2025, we've maintained that $5 million balance each month, earning roughly $2,500 in interest, or 0.025%. By contrast, we have $3.5 million in the Oakland County investment pool that earned $152,000 in interest in the same period, or 4.2%. And so by maintaining this high balance in basically a non-interest-bearing checking account, we are losing more than $12,000 in lost interest every month. So my question is, are my numbers correct?
I didn't analyze your numbers, I just captured the gist of our conversation.
Okay. But we reviewed them back in February, the same numbers that we reviewed in February.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny if your
Okay.
numbers are correct, because I did not check the
So,
numbers.
so do we still have $5 million in the Oxford Bank checking account?
No,
Okay, so that has changed?
correct.
Good. Okay, so per the meeting minutes, the clerk treasurer stated that administration will review options for transferring excess funds while maintaining required reserves. The village manager went on to say the village recently adopted an updated investment policy and that administration is reviewing ways to maximize returns while maintaining safety and liquidity. So I'd like to make a motion to request the village manager to present to council at the next meeting, April 13th, our investment plan that's focusing on, one, the process to manage our investment accounts to generate the highest yield possible, and two, the security of our funds from an insurance standpoint. And what FDIC is what I think of when I think of insured. I don't know how it is for municipal funds, but I'd like to see a report back to council that addresses both of those at the next meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have support? Seeing no support, then motion fails.
Ms. President.
Yes, Mr. Lamb.
George, the motion, I think the motion here is correct. We had a motion and it was passed for the village manager to establish a protocol for an investment strategy for the routine accounts by April 13th. How does your request not, wouldn't that fulfill the needs of your request?
How do you mean?
Well, he's supposed to come up with a protocol, the exact process for how they'll be doing that. Wouldn't that contain the data you needed? The protocol is an actual procedure, like a monthly, say for instance, the treasurer would do a monthly audit of the accounts, transfer unnecessary funds, and, you know, that would be the investment strategy.
I'm just asking you to know what that process is.
Well, we asked them to provide the protocol by April 13th already.
Yeah, and I made that motion, and I didn't get support, so.
No, it's already, was made at the, wasn't it, it was already made at the last meeting. The motion, we
If I
already
could
did that.
clarify. So at the.
Did we?
Yes, a
Yes,
motion was
it's in there.
made by Pro Tem Ford, seconded by Councilmember Lamb to establish the need for the village manager to establish a protocol for an investment strategy for the routine accounts by April 13, 2026.
That's on page 10 of the meeting minutes.
Okay. Well, I guess the second thing that I was looking for was how are our investments insured? How are they guaranteed? So maybe we can include that in the report.
If I
Yeah,
think I
please.
can answer that question right now. So under FDIC, accounts are insured up to $250,000 for each account. Anything over that is not insured. Sonia and I have had discussions about how we invest these funds, trying to maximize return on investment, but also safety of the investments. We're looking at the possibility of sweep accounts that are managed on a daily basis. Funds are moved around into a variety of accounts, in investment accounts that are also liquid. So the money goes out, then it comes back in on a daily basis, but monies are sent out to different accounts so that no more than $250,000 is placed in any one account. And we are looking at that right now. We're looking at banks who offer those sweep services. We're checking with Oxford Bank to see if they provide those services. If not, we need to think about moving our funds to another bank. Perhaps, I believe PNC does offer sweep services, so we will look at them.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll move to receive and file the Village Council regular meeting minutes of March 9, 2026.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, receive and file Orion Township Building Permit Report. Mr. Lamb.
I was just very happy to see that now that we have established this protocol with the township, they're making the report. However, the report isn't quite detailed. All the permits say miscellaneous residential. I wouldn't mind seeing if they were a little detail item on each report. So I was going to reach out to Darwin and ask them to give a little more detail. So I move to receive and file the report.
Support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, public hearings. We have 2 public hearings today. The first public hearing is the hearing on necessity for the 2026 street improvement program. Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, members of council, council is scheduled to conduct a needs public hearing to receive public comments from affected property owners on the need for the 2026 street improvement program. The 2026 program involves the repair, replacement of pavement on most streets on the west side of M24, north and east of the lake. We provided you with a map showing the streets proposed to be included in the project. The purpose of the needs public hearing tonight is to allow property owners to comment as to whether they feel their streets need repair or replacement or not. A subsequent special assessment public hearing will be held, which will give property owners another opportunity to comment on the cost of the project and any specific special assessments that are proposed to be levied against their specific properties. That will happen after we finish the design of the project and after we bid the project out to get definitive costs. And then we will prepare a proposed special assessment roll. Notices will go out to the property owners, letting them know what their special assessment would be, and the council would hold another public hearing. But tonight's public hearing is simply to hear from residents as to whether or not they feel that their streets are in a condition that requires some type of repair or replacement.
Thank you. So just, again, reiterating Mr. McCleary's comments, this is for the need on the street improvement program. If that should move forward, there will be another public hearing where you can comment on the special assessment portion of it. Remember, your comments are still limited to 4 minutes. We also don't answer questions, dialogue back and forth. This is for you to comment on it. There will be a motion that then we will debate, taking all of your comments into consideration, addressing comments that may come up at that time as well. Do I need a motion? So I'll move to open the public hearing for the 2026 Street Improvement Program hearing on necessity.
Support.
We have motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We will open the public hearing for the Street Improvement Program. Yes.
Hello, my name is Lori Pesci. I live on North Axford Street, and I am of the opinion that my street does not need repaving. There are no potholes or large cracks or sunken manhole covers like there are on Flint Street. You don't want any other comments, right?
Just
that.
on the needs, yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Just a couple of points of clarification, because I really don't think that we can make that determination whether it needs repair or not because of the construction on Mosseri's property. I noticed that in their stretch of Lake Street that there is no, it's white. Does that mean it's been designated private, or has Mosseri agreed to take on the cost? I mean, why is that?
That means it's not part of the project.
Okay.
The blue on the map and the red there.
Might I ask why? Because it ties into my next.
We can address that when we discuss. We'll
Okay.
take note of all the questions.
And the reason I'm saying I don't think we can make an honest determination is because we have construction equipment continually driving down Lake Street, down South Andrews Street, at least the section between Lake and Flint Street. It's not, they don't need to do that, but it makes it convenient for them so they don't have to turn around on their property. I've got video, I've got dates and times of every heavy construction. I'm talking cement trucks, I'm talking trailers hauling big flatbed excavators, driving down our street, and it's not necessary. For my background, I've got a degree in material handling. I've designed and spec'd heavy equipment all day long. There is no need for them to drive down that street. When I made a complaint, which is on record, about them coming down the street, I was told by Chris, the ordinance officer, that they have a legal right to drive down there. So, and I noticed sometime in the past, all the weight restriction signs have been pulled from Orion. I can't tell you when that happened. It's been a while. But, I remember for the longest time, there were weight restrictions on those roads. So my concern is damage to these roads because of construction, not because of normal wear and tear. Okay?
Thank you.
Could I get your name and address, please?
My name is David Lidgey. It's Lidgey. The home address is 18 South Andrews.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Natalie DeVersa. and I have property at 238 Lake Street, which is the corner, kind of what David was talking about on Lake Street and where Darling is. And I served on the zoning board here for 13 years. I have several concerns. One, I'm going to address it. David said that they're going to pave up to Darling Street, but then the rest is white, and they're not paving the rest. I personally paid for part of that Lake Street when my sewer collapsed there about 8 years ago. I paid for it out of my pocket. The village was going to pay for it, but they wanted 4 or 5 times more. And since I'm liable, I just paved that road. So I'm concerned, that's my biggest concern. And then how we're paying for it, and again, the difference in why the area that connects, it's all Lake Street. Why is the other part not being paved? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello, my name is Amy Tunney. I live at 94 North Shore. I've been in the village for over 20 years, and every special assessment, every special project that comes through is pricing me out of my home of 20 years, and I do not think my road needs repair. I think that the village needs to take accountability with the taxes that we pay to repair the roads themselves. Thank you.
Sorry. Ken Van Portfleet, 152 South Andrews. In regards to whether or not my street needs repair or replacement, I don't think it needs either. The DPW has the ability to do soft patching with a roller truck. I remember purchasing that equipment and having that option. And my road right now is shaped this way. Most roads are crowned, and mine has gone this way, and I feel that there might be an issue with the sewer in the road. I had contacted DPW and talked to previous village manager about it, and a number of years ago, because I was observing it to continue to decline. And the DPW came out and kindly put some patch on it, but was more of just the bag fill and heat it up and stamp it in. And I think there's a larger issue underneath the road. I'm curious how some of those things like that may be addressed from an engineering standpoint. Is it even being looked at? And wanted to just make sure that I bring that to your attention. It would be nice, and if, as we go down this road, to try to understand some type of a linear foot cost for frontage for at least budgetary purposes. And I was a previous council member, and I opposed the SAD in July of 2023, and I still do. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kathy Leach, and I own the house on 120 Clare Street. 120 Clare has my house that's on Lake, Tom Thomas, who's behind me on the water, and then Mark bought Chewy's house and the house in front of him, and that's all one lot. So that's what abuts Clare Street. However, and I like Mark, it's nothing about him, but he's exempt because his driveway is on Lake Street and his address is Lake Street, which is so odd because he takes up far more of Clare Street than he does of Lake. My house and Tom Thomas's house, my driveway is on Lake Street. I don't use the road. Tom Thomas is the only one that does. Now, I read in the paper that that we would be responsible for he and I would be responsible for 90% of the repaving. Now, there was a map that was not included in this letter, but the clerk sent me the map, and it has red lines and purple lines. No legend was given for what that means. So Tom Thomas called today. I don't know who he spoke with here, but he was told that there is a grant, and that's what the red line means, that you would get a grant from the state of Michigan in order to accomplish those pavings. And then there's purple, and I guess they were added into the grant also. The bottom line is the road does not need repaved, and if there's any damage to that road, it's because of the storm drain that I have spent upwards of $65,000 remediating my property, and Wes is far well aware of all this. I had to replace the first wall in '98. I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars to save my home. And finally, last year, they put in a new storm drain. You know, and it's because of the buildup around me. You have Mark's house that took up, there's no grass space there. 305 Lake Street was built in 2006, no grass space there. The house on the other side of me, west of me, that was being built up all at the same time. And here, poor Tom and I are in the middle and being flooded and flooded and flooded. The road doesn't need paved. I'm just shocked that I got the letter. You know, I have suffered so much to keep that little place. It's 720 square feet. We're not talking a mansion. And I have no idea what the rate would be for me. And since Mark is excluded, even though his house covers far more than mine and far more than Tom's, it's Tom and I that would suffer from this. And like you say, he's fine with it. He called, and I'll have to find out who he spoke with today, because he was told he didn't have to attend the meeting. He was going to come, but it wasn't on the agenda. So I'll call him when I leave here. But no, the road does not need paved, and if it does, it was because of the continual flooding. And I mean, I even got paid from the village in 2012. I've been fighting for this forever. And to have to suffer to repave something that doesn't need paved, that Tom is the only one that uses. And besides that, the only time the road is ever used is when people drop off, you know, Amazon or something to Mark. Nobody uses that road. And for us to have to suffer, he's 84, you know. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Hello again. I just wanted to have a response with Ken Van Portfleet that came up here and mentioned our sewer system in the village on this side. It's very delicate. I experienced it firsthand 8 years ago when I was telling you how the sewer collapsed because of all the traffic that goes up and down Lake Street. And it's even more so now with the building. And there's a lawsuit filed, and you can look back at it at the records. You're opening a can of worms as well, just so we know as a village what we're getting into when we start opening these roads, that it's very delicate down there as well. And there's proof of that if you want to look back at it, or we can talk about that later. But I just want you to know as a council who's handling our village that we're getting into a lot. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Burton Poisson, 22900 Shader Street, Clinton Township. I purchased lots on top of Hill Street, developing a homestead there, and the street's really narrow. They exempted part of my lots previously years ago to make the street wider. It's laid out on the plot, and the street is so narrow up there. To develop a homestead up there, there's nowhere parked for guests, there's nowhere for Amazon to come up or UPS to come up and turn around on the street. Previously, there was the one neighbor across the way from me. He kept it as his private driveway, more or less. But I've been over there to clear property and other developments there, and there's absolutely no room there to be functional. So I like the street widened as to the exemption, what's there. I understand there's a cost, it's no problem there, but I'd like to see the improvements made to the street, and so I can have a more useful property when I'm to complete my home. I think that should be enough right there. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeff Seiner, 416 Lake Street. Good to see you all this evening. First comment I want to say is thank you very much for sending out a letter. I remember standing there a couple of years ago over the Masheri issues, and we had to round the people up. This is the right way to do it. We suggested possibly something like this, and we were heard. Thank you. My comment I'd like to make, though, that when I received this letter, I've found the subject matter interesting, that the village is asking the residents if they need their roads fixed. Now, I've lived in many cities, towns, villages in all my lifetime. I've never had one of them ask us. They were the ones that told us, you need, because it's based upon inspections that are done and what rate, what condition the roads are in, and what priorities are there. Now, it's nice you ask us, but what I see here coming is it's the preempt what's going to follow. That's because you're going to come and ask us all for money when this project occurs. It's like I can kind of see the reading between the lines. I mean, it's still a strategy you're using, and it's effective. It's good. At least you're hearing from the comments from the people. But it's working. You have good attendance tonight on this subject matter, and I just want to let you know that as this procedure moves on, you're going to have, when the people, you start going to us for our money out of our pocket, you're going to get a lot more response like we did during the Masheri days. But I do just find it interesting that even the taxpayers are would be even assessed. That's never happened either wherever I've been, for roads. That's what our tax dollars are for, is maintaining the infrastructure of your village, town, or city. I mean, that's fundamental, that's basic. And this is not where we're going. We're going to be asked to pay for it. And I just want to bring that clear to your attention, that I don't understand why we are, other than poor budgeting, finance within our village, but that should be something the people don't really have a say in, and it shouldn't be having to pay for it. Thank you.
Brenda, 172 Sable Way. I'm up here about the sidewalks. Good afternoon, everybody.
That's the next.
Oh, it's not
issue.
this one?
Nope, we're still on the streets.
Hello, good evening. I'm Patrick Bauer. I live at 175 North Andrews Street. I just personally do not feel that the roads need done. If people are driving within the speed limit, I feel that the roads are fine. If people are complaining that they're bumpy, they might be going too fast. The only question that I have, and I know you guys will address it, is I don't know exactly what the colors mean on the map that Sonia provided us, and I also don't know how you would assess how much each house is going to pay, if it's by taxable value, if it's just going to be cut all by how many properties there are, or what it is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. There.
My name's Ron Hennig, 174 North Axford Street. I think Axford Street's fine like it is. I'm in the corner house, and I think Church Street's fine too. And, I agree that, the village should be paying for the streets, not asking, the residents. We just got our water bill, and, and the biggest jump I ever seen or heard of it any place. And, It's just one hit after another. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I did the math based on the numbers in the packet, and my road's a blue one. And with the 70-foot wide lot, the fee would be between $3,000 to $4,500. And I was told that would be a lump sum, not spread out.
So typically, we only allow one public comment per person. I know, I apologize. I came off a 12-hour flight from South Korea earlier today and didn't realize it till she was already speaking. Any other public comments? Yes.
Yeah, hi, I'm Johannes Merck from 354 North Shore. That's the corner lot, North Shore and Hill Street. I'm here to respectfully disagree with Bert here on Hill Street needing widening. This thing has been fine for as long as we've been there, for 9-10 years. Trucks get up and down there all the time. It does maybe need a few repairs, but neither does it need a full replacement, in my opinion, nor does it need widening. Thank you.
Hello. Jason Verbrugge, 305 Park Avenue. I see this was not one of the roads that are on the map tonight, but Park and Central, we had the roads done a few years ago on Central. There should be a warranty on that work, and we've called in and emailed as well a couple times to see where that warranty would actually go back in and fill in the center cracks, as well as some of the side crumbling that's going on the part that everyone's paid for already. But then there's additional cracks and potholes and whatnot happening further on Central. So when it comes to the various phases that may come out in this, I'd like to just make the comment that I also feel the city taxes should pay for this. I've lived in 10 different homes over my years, and I've never paid for a road. They've all been covered by the city, and they've been excellent roads. So just want to make that comment now. I don't know when that phase will come for that area, but I want to get ahead of the game and make comments out there. Thank you.
Mel Bradley, 300 Hill Street. First of all, we didn't get a map, and yet we've been busy, haven't been able to call anybody, but don't know what you're talking about with the maps. Secondly, it seems like you're already going ahead doing things because there's flags, white squares, whatever going on. As far as Hill Street's concerned, does not need widening. I agree with Johannes. We've lived here for 6 years, have no problem living up there. What I will have a problem is with if we end up paying for this, then that's going to be a bigger problem because we already pay large taxes. So why isn't it coming out of our taxes? Why are you asking every neighbour to foot a bill that we're already paying, hopefully, into a pocket of money for? So I'm against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Yep.
Madam President, is the clerk tabulating the names and
Hello.
people's comments?
My name is Natalie Perrigy. I am at 30 Beebe Street. I am a very new resident to Lake Orion as a community, and I chose to purchase a home in this community, intending on downsizing both physically and financially as I look towards the next phase of my life. And unfortunately, I have to say my experience hasn't been great because of things like this notice telling me I'm going to need to pay money for street repairs, which I would have expected taxes to pay. I don't think the street needs repairs. Again, I haven't lived there for long, though, so I'm relatively new to the community. But after having received recent water bills, as someone else mentioned as well, which were unexpected as a new resident, I'm now then getting letters about the street repairs, and it really concerns me because my intent moving in this community was, again, to downsize. And while that's relative to me as an individual, I just don't feel like as a community, it's one that I would encourage others to choose to move to now, based on the experience I've had in a really short period of time, which is unfortunate. Thanks.
Could you restate your street? I didn't catch it.
BB, 30.
Okay.
Mhm.
Dorothy Bellany, 380 North Shore. I know that the tax or the road assessment will be put into our taxes. That's how it's paid for. That's how most municipalities do that. They do a special assessment. I don't want a special assessment. We do pay quite a bit of taxes, and I don't believe the road really needs to be done, but I do believe that the sewers need to be addressed, especially on North Shore, especially in front of my house and my neighbors. But I am not in agreement. And as far as Hill Street, I've driven up there quite often and have had no trouble backing up or going down. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Timo Nicolau, 8 South North Shore. I just can't wrap my head around the building that's been going on throughout the village of new homes, of which mine is one, excuse me. And what I pay in taxes, what I know everybody down my street that pay in taxes, I'm no mathematician, but how can we be paying so much and now we have to pay for road assessment? Seriously. I mean, I know costs have gone up in a lot of things, but we're still this square, this, I don't know, mile square. What has gone up so much that this can't be taken care of? Do we have a dollar amount on this plan? We don't even know what it's going to cost yet. Is that you can't answer?
We'll address questions when we have council discussion.
Okay.
After we receive.
But just for the record, the math doesn't add up. It's not rocket science. This is arithmetic. And if you look at all the homes that stepped up from being sold of what their tax base is, and new homes going up, there are homes with $20,000 tax bills. It just doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments? Seeing none, do I need a motion to close? Entertain them. Okay.
Brenda, did the village council not have anybody come out and look at these roads? Why are these people being all surprised about the roads and asking you questions, and they don't know about the roads? I mean, what are the road conditions like? What does the government say? When did they come in? When did they display? When did they look at the roads? When did they grade the roads? How does this work? This sounds like it's a big old surprise to everybody, like the water bill.
Thank you. Any more comments? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
We have a motion and we have support by Mr. Camproni. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we do have a suggested motion, or recommended motion here, but I'd like first, if our village manager could address some of the questions that came up, so we're not all just bouncing back and forth, but if you could address some of those questions.
Sure.
That'd be great.
So, thank you, Your Honor. So some of the main questions that I heard, first of all, what do the colors on the map mean? So we have some of the streets outlined in red. Those were part of the original project that we applied for grant funding for. This project was originally intended to be a smaller street improvement project. And the streets that are in red were based on the pavement asset management plan that was prepared by our engineers. These streets were under the treatment A, which was supposed to be the first year of a pavement improvement program, and these were the worst streets within that area. After we applied for the grant funding, and we did receive $250,000 in grant funding for those streets that are outlined in red, the council had further discussion. You decided to add the additional streets that are outlined in blue into the project. I believe the assumption was that if it was a larger project, the cost for everyone to improve these streets would be lower because we would take advantage of economies of scale. The additional streets that are in blue, we cannot use the grant funding for because they weren't part of the original grant application. But that explains the blue and the red. Why is part of Lake Street not colored? The part that you see on Lake Street that is white on the map is because the developer of the Starbird development, as part of the approval of that development project, they have to repave that portion of Lake Street. So that portion is being improved by the developer. Are the special assessments going to be a lump sum or spread out? Now we're getting into a different phase of this project in public hearings, but just very briefly, our intention at this point is to spread the special assessments over a number of years. We anticipate that the useful life of this project will be at least 15 years. So it's very possible that we will spread these special assessments in equal amounts over a 15-year period. We do not anticipate that the assessments will be a lump sum that have to be paid in 1 year. But we anticipate we will have to issue bonds for this project to have enough capital to complete the project up front if we're going to spread this special assessments over a number of years. The other question was, did anyone come out and look at the roads? Yes, we had our engineers come out. They inspected the roads. They did ratings of all the roads in the village. They prepared a pavement asset management plan that outlines the condition of every road in the village according to a rating system. And these were some of the worst streets in this area. The red ones especially were the ones that the engineer identified as in the worst condition.
Was there a total project cost estimate that you had? I know we're not to that, but just for an overall.
The original project, the roads outlined in red, the engineers gave an estimate of $547,000. We have been awarded a grant of $250,000 toward that $547,000 cost. The other streets have not been designed, and so we do not have cost estimates for those streets at that time. If the council decides that you want us to continue working on this project, we will proceed to have the engineers complete the design plans and bid specifications. We will bid out the project, and then we'll have definitive costs for the entire project. And then we will start to prepare the proposed special assessments for each property, and then that's a second public hearing process with notice to the affected property owners.
And they had a question, that's per linear foot of frontage, correct? Not equal per address, it's per linear foot.
Per linear front foot.
Yep. Yes, Mr. Lamb.
Darwin, what was the report where this was the last year we were going to get this grant funding? They had ceased the program till in future years that we won't get any more grant funding. Can you explain that, please?
Yes, so this grant is through the Transportation Economic Development Fund. They are closing out this grant fund at the end of this year. So we are one of the last communities to receive funding under this grant program. There are currently no other grant programs available for local street improvements. Now, I will say that the state legislature this year created a new neighborhood roads program utilizing some of the commercial taxes to fund that program. We anticipate starting in about a year and a half, we will probably receive about $100,000 more a year in road funding than we are currently receiving, which is a substantial amount of additional funding for road improvements. But our roads are funded through Act 51 right now. The taxes that you pay at the pump are what pay for roads for any road agency, the county road commission, city roads, village roads. Townships do not receive Act 51 funds because their roads are handled through the county road commission. But as any of us know, even the county road commission, if they're going to improve a local street, they only do that under a special assessment. Like a portion of Central that they did a few years ago. That was a special assessment. So this is the way normally that road improvements are handled. I hope I answered
Yeah,
the question.
thank you. So I just want to remind the council that we're focused on the needs part of it, but I did want to have some of the questions answered for the public. Mr. Lamb,
I was just going to ask a little more.
can you use your mic?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. So Darwin, my review indicated we get about $130,000 a year into the local street fund, which is what we're talking about tonight, from the state. And that money is used for maintenance and operation.
So the local street fund is funded through Act 51. We may have to establish a separate fund for the neighborhood road program to account for those funds. It's not clear at this point whether we can account for those funds all in local street fund or if we have to set up a separate fund. But we do anticipate at least right around $100,000 additional a year. And then it will increase, according to the state, somewhat over the next couple years. Right now, it's just a 5-year program, but it could be that the legislature extends it beyond that 5 years. But you are close.
Not much money.
Not nearly enough to cover all of our road needs.
Could I ask the clerk, did you take a tally of those who have said that they do not feel that the road needs it, or? not
I
while they
did
were-
print them all out for you.
Yeah,
They were
I
in
mean,
piles.
during the public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
I'll give you a moment.
You said that were or were
That,
not?
that said they felt it needed it versus did not need it.
Yep, give me just a moment.
Yep, and just so the public knows, we have, so we received some public comment via email. There's one that says, I vote in, that's in favor of the road improvement program. This one is West Flint Street and streets in our neighborhood, that we believe that they require repairs or replacement. A few of them address drainage issues on North Shore, portions of there. And then some had questions too about the color scheme as well in the map.
I had one email from my neighbor David across the street. He wrote from California. He said he's in favor of having the streets improved.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question? Why does it matter if there's a tally of who wants it and doesn't want it? It's totally irrelevant.
They get the
I mean, is there a substance behind that?
There is, because if the whole neighborhood says,
Then you got to take a logical
want
vote. Then we got to take a logical vote, and everyone's got to be aware there's a vote in order to do it.
So-
Because to randomly just ask who said it doesn't make any sense.
it just gives us information as to take the temperature of the room, like, are people coming in and wanting it? Because The recommended motion today, just so everybody knows, it is in the packet, is to find that the sidewalk improvement program, as presented or with modifications, is necessary, and that would direct the village manager. The subsequent motion would be to complete the design bid and contract specifications. But if there was overwhelming, like every person said, we don't want our roads redone, we're not going to force you to get your roads redone.
I get it, but you can't do it from just a small sample like this.
But it would allow us to make a further motion as well. So,
Still doesn't make sense, but I get it.
Teresa, I think at this time we devolve their application.
yeah. So I'm going to ask the public to keep their comments. This is time for council deliberation right now. We do not even have a motion on the floor yet. But we did ask Mr. McCleary to clarify the questions that you all had as we now decide among ourselves.
He didn't clarify why the
So,
can't pay for their own road.
May I
yeah,
speak?
Mr. Lamb.
So I will begin our discussion.
Thank you.
Since, but right now, I'm not comfortable to make a motion for or against. But I've noticed from public comment and I know a lot of your faces, there are many people here and a lot of people from North Shore who didn't speak for or against the program, okay? That sometimes is problematic for council if you don't voice opinions. I noticed that there are people from Hill Street, almost all the residents showed up, and I wasn't sure, they said they didn't want to widen the street, but I'm not sure if they wanted it repaved or not. I think they might not have wanted either. I noticed over on Clare Street that the citizen was deeply concerned about being the only one to pay, and no one told her that the person with the longest frontage on a quarter lot has to pay for the longest frontage section, whether they have a driveway or not. So I see a little street-by-street concern going on here that may require a little deliberation on our part to assess, if all the people on the street don't want to pave it, I personally would be inclined to let them have gravel, okay? Because I'm not going to force anyone to pay. But if the majority of people on the street want it paved, well, then we're playing democracy again. So that's why these are very uncomfortable situation for me. My particular street is trash, and I want it paved. I've talked to most of my neighbors close to me. They would like it paved, but they're concerned about paying for it. We have a committee we formed recently to review the assessment policy, which consists of us three gentlemen, and to discuss the ramifications of, options of the paying, perhaps a community-wide millage. I'm not sure if we determined that our taxes have never been allocated for road improvements other than general maintenance, and so there's no fund built up, kind of like our sewers and water, same kind of situation. So I did some research, and I found that most communities in the Oakland County Road Commission, which takes care of all the roads in the township, they apparently special assess for everything, and most of them don't contribute. The third thing that I noticed from public comment was questions about subsurface issues with the roads, and I'd like to point out that our current policy pays for all sewer and water repairs beneath the pavement during a pavement project, and that if drainage improvements are needed, they will be made as part of the total road project and included in the cost for the road. So these are the parameters that we're dealing with tonight. So to determine necessities, we could go through and do one road at a time and ask for a show of hands. We could, yay or nay kind of thing, and then take a tally of the people who showed up. And then, of course, we have all the, the written comments submitted. We could add that to the tally. That might be one method of doing it. Another method would be just we decide. Tell them what we're going to do. I heard some people not liking that idea. So I'll let somebody else talk. It was 2.5 minutes? Okay.
Mr. Dandelides.
I guess two things. First of all, I was at a township meeting a week ago tonight and very similar discussion at the township meeting from an assessment standpoint. And the position in the township is very similar to ours in that there's special, you know, if I think the way it was put was if citizens want the roads resurfaced or repaired or whatever, special assessments is the way it happens. So I don't think the special assessment is outside the norm. And I think, Michael, I think that's what you were getting at also. The second comment I wanted to make was, I think we're asking for our residents to tell us whether or not there's a need. However, I think the critical piece of information is we haven't provided a cost. And clearly from the comments, there's a balance between need and cost, and depending on what the cost is, I may or may not have the need, okay? So I almost think that the question on the table of need is premature because we haven't given, I don't think we've given any idea of what the cost per linear foot is. And from the comments, it seems like that's extremely important.
It was in the packet.
Was it?
What packet? On the website. The village website.
The February 23rd packet. Anyway,
Well, it's not-
anyway, remember, this is the time for council deliberation. Thank you. Mr. Pevchek.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Everybody wants new roads. New roads are great. They're nice to drive on, walk on, ride your bike, all that. But yeah, I think, do I want a new road? I live on North Shore. Do I want a new road if I'm paying $5,000 for it? Well, I'd be okay with what we have. You know, I'd be fine putting it off. I'm in the same boat, right? My taxes are over $25,000. I've got a $1,000 water bill. I'm getting special assessed on a street. I don't want any of that. You know, it's the bills just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. But I think what we have to realize is we voted for a lot of this. We look at where we have a lot of tax money coming in, right? A lot of new development here with the luxury apartments. A lot of that is within a DDA map that captures that tax revenue that doesn't give us the money we need for infrastructure like this. This is where it's that trade-off. We all want a great lumberyard project, but not at the cost of $2,000 water bills and paying for our roads and everything else. It's that balance. We've got infrastructure needs that we don't have the money for, and unfortunately, then we have to pay for it. I think there's bigger budget issues we have to solve for here, just because I know a lot of communities do special assessments. I'm not a big fan. I've never had to pay for a street in my life in all the houses I've lived in. I know there are communities, like Kego Harbor for one, I believe they put street budgets and repairs and funding as the same way they fund police and DPW and everything else in budget line items. I'd love to get to that point. We don't have enough money coming into the village because a lot of it gets funneled into DDA funds for projects that the community wanted. So I think we've got these trade-offs that we sort of have to live with because one area gets shortchanged, short-funded, while others get a lot more money for other projects, and it's just a tough spot to be in. Nobody up here wants to keep passing costs along, but this is where we're at, unfortunately. I'd like to find a way around it because, yeah, I hear from a lot of neighbors, we'd like a new street, but we don't want to get priced out of our homes, right? It's, yeah.
Mr. Ford.
Yeah, with the research I did, special assessments is the most common way. Clarkston does it, exact same formula that we follow. And unfortunately, that's it. I think Mr. McCleary explained why taxes don't go directly towards that. And that's, I don't think any community has the kind of funds just available for road replacement without special assessing. I'm not real quick to get on the DDA thing because we negotiated a 75-25 with the DDA to bring that money back. It can be only used in the DDA area, but the DDA area is large. And I hesitate to sacrifice all our other things to help pay for, so we don't special assess on the roads. There is a balance, but what we're balancing, I'm real cautious about.
Mr. Camperoni?
Okay, real simple, because I don't talk like these people. Everybody's saying no, so I'm going to vote no. Pretty simple.
I think based on what I've heard tonight, and I would like to go back, I'm not prepared to just vote a complete no, nor a complete yes on this right now, because it seems like there are concerns that there are individual streets that residents like, our streets are fine. I heard it for a number of different streets, some of which were added to the plan later on to take advantage of economies of scale, but if those streets don't need to be done and residents say, we're fine with it, then why do we have it on there? So I would like to go back and maybe revisit the different reports from the street assessments, as well as solicit some further feedback. So yeah, I'm not prepared to move forward on finding this is necessary, but also don't want to completely throw the whole thing out because I think we do have grant funding as well that we want to take advantage of. So we don't want to just say, we're going to scrap the project. So we want to take advantage of the grant funding, but I think we might need to look at focusing it a little bit more and taking out some of the streets that we've heard from residents that they're good, they're fine with them. Mr. Ford.
I do tend to agree with that. Obviously, we included the streets in blue, and I believe the grant funding was for the red streets?
Correct.
So to try to save money by having a bigger project. But to go back to the original plan of the streets in red, that we can apply that grant funding, $250,000, I think that's another way to look at it, and get at least those streets done, since they were, according to the engineers, in need.
Mr. Lamb.
Yeah, going back to the engineer's report, I've never seen yet our strategy for, the streets that need to be repaired. All I did was I got a report from the manager saying that we're going to do these streets, and the engineer decided they were first because they were the worst. Well, anybody that lives in our neighborhood, we just had a bunch of people here saying their streets weren't in bad shape at all, that were in that, reddish area. And then I know down at the end of North Shore, the streets are trashed. And I know that Church Street, which is mostly village property, so the village would cover the share of all the village frontage. And I just got to point out that, the previous administration, there were 2 major repairs made on my street and Church Street using extensive dollars. They've already failed, 4 years later, because they were stopgap repairs that didn't address the relevant drainage issues. At this point, I see necessity on some streets, and I see necessity not on some other streets. Since I don't decide the character of the road or the nature of the road, I guess the people that live on decide the nature of the road. So if they're okay with their road, and it's not affecting the other roads, then I would determine that we don't need to do it. So we have a little dilemma here. We have a little dilemma about what roads need it and what roads don't need it, and the criteria is our engineer's report and then the people's want. So, one way to do this would be to, bring up the proposal for the citywide millage, which would tax all the people on the state highway that don't have any local roads. It would tax all the businesses. Oh, the DDA would capture the millage. We had a new millage, the DDA would capture the millage from all of the businesses and it would increase their funding by whatever the millage rate would. Oh, my goodness. So millage option doesn't work for our community because, 25 to, I forget what, 25 or 40% of the village is in the DDA capture district. So we can't have a municipal millage where the businesses pay, pay into the millage. It's a real problem. The structure of this village economically, I've said for 5 years, is messed up. Yeah. Okay? And the people that are paying apparently now are the local residents on the local streets with the local sewers. This is something I mentioned for years. So I do not believe, based on, as Teresa, you rendered an opinion, and so I'll render my opinion, that I don't think we can make I won't be able to make an order of necessity for the entire project. The Clare Street people, I've been there many times. I feel for them. Nobody drives on their street and they're happy with it. It's a dead end, right? Grove Street, I have no idea if anybody ever goes on Grove Street. Lake Street is used for the public launch. We do have money available for that project. It comes from the, outside, so that's we don't want to lose that money. That's free money. I think we may need to, have a reset and have an administrative look at this, and then maybe restructure our hearing where we get a more definitive advocacy from the individual street participants as to what they want to do with their street. And I have no problem with, hand showing, roll call, public notice. You show up and say no, you show up and say yes, or we decide for you, which is, but that's how it's going to happen. If the people don't voice or don't come and say, then we'll have to decide. So, that's my second long talk.
One quick question for you, Mr. McCleary. In the section in red that we got the grant for, if we eliminate, say, like, for instance, Clare Street, we've mentioned that, if we eliminate that from that district, does that affect the grant at all?
I believe it does. The grant application was with the understanding that all of the streets in red would be done. And all the streets in red was estimated at $547,000. We received the maximum grant funding of $250,000 to complete those improvements. And we have to match the grant 50-50. So if you were to reduce the project, I'm not even sure we could reduce the project without reapplying, and this is the last year of the grant program. I believe we would have to do this entire project.
In the red?
In the red.
Okay. I'm trying to word a motion in my head, so I'm going to take a stab at one, and then y'all can help me out. So I'll move to direct administration to review the responses that we've received via public comment, via here at the meeting, and with what has been submitted via email, and provide an alternate plan, given the public comments and feedback that we've seen, keeping the red portion and maybe getting a definitive answer on the grant application, just to double check, with the reports from the engineers for each of the roads as well to us, so that way we can look at those and, yeah, place it on the next agenda for further consideration.
Can I ask for one more
Yeah.
thing?
For sure.
I'd like to ask all of you citizens here that if you haven't voiced your opinion regarding your street, that you submit a written opinion to the village office, email, drop off a note, something of that nature, rendering your opinion on whether you would like your street repaved or not. We can talk about the next meeting that we would have after necessity would be how much it costs. So the first thing we really need to know is whether you need to have your street paved or whether you think you don't. And then we,
Well, I think we'd have to go street by street, so I think it would be better if we just, sent an email to Mr. McCleary's office, let your neighbors know as well, just say, I live on this street, I think my street needs it, I think my street doesn't. And also, Mr. McCleary, at the next meeting, I know there is cost in going out to do the design, the bid, and all that kind of stuff, but if you could make sure that just the rough estimate that we have for project cost would be included in the next packet. I know it's still the needs hearing, but I think that would help, because as some of the other comments said, well, if it, costs me $10,000, well, my need is a lot lower than if it cost me $2,000. So is that possible to put the rough estimate?
Yes, we
Okay.
can do a rough estimate of the project costs and probably give you a linear
Per linear
front
foot, okay.
foot cost. Going through and evaluating every property would be
Right,
very
I'm not asking for that
time-consuming.
level of detail,
But
but
each
yeah.
property owner could say, I have 50 feet, and if the front foot cost is this, that gives them an
Yeah.
idea of what their
Okay.
cost would be.
Mr. Papacek.
Can I just get clarification? I think I heard in a few meetings ago, and I just want to understand, so everyone understands. If I heard it right, but please correct me, if people living on a street, if 2/3 of the people don't want it repaired, the street doesn't get repaired? Did I hear that or miss? I'm just trying to.
Could you clarify
see,
that with the special
If we
assessment?
collect everyone's hands on a street, what's that? Is it a 50/50 or?
Well, in the township operates under a separate law than we do. They have to have more than 50% in a petition saying that they want a street improvement done. If they don't get more than 50% representing that they want the street improvement done, it doesn't get done. We operate under our local charter that was adopted by the citizens. And our local charter says this is the process we follow. We hold a needs public hearing, and then the council decides whether to move forward. And then if the council moves forward, we go through the process of estimating the costs, designing the project, having a second special assessment public hearing. But the decisions lay with the council, unlike with township government, where they've got to have petitions. The decision-making is purely at the discretion of the council. Did I answer your question on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. That's what I was curious about.
It's a
Yeah.
somewhat different process than with townships.
Yeah, and it would be a shame to lose out on the grant funding. I get that. So you're kind of.
The grant funding is going to cover almost half of the cost for those red streets.
Right.
At some point, those streets need to be improved. We would be missing out on a real opportunity to keep those costs down for those property owners if we did not take advantage of that grant funding now. But again, that's a decision that the council has to make.
Yeah, and I think along those lines, so yeah, you feel like the parts in red, you're getting at a discount. If we're gonna do them, let's minimize the costs to the residents as much as we can. And I think there's something to be said for, man, it probably saves you money to do the red and blue all at once, right? If you're gonna do it anyway, do it all at once instead of this piecemeal where the costs add up over time. It's just, I'd like us to take a look, and I think we are, on the special assessment policy and funding. And it's kind of like where we're going with water and sewer. Why does it have to always be that the costs get passed on so heavily to the residents? I'd love to find a way around that, but I know that's how it's set up now, but we all look at the taxes we pay and what are we getting out of it? And it just gets funneled to different areas, which.
Your Honor, if I could, you bring up an excellent point, taxes. And I don't think it's always understood that the village of Lake Orion collects $1.5 million in taxes to run the entire village. All of our general operations, we collect $1.5 million. We do not collect millions of dollars for our general operations. We receive about $330,000 between our Act 51 funds for major streets and local streets. We have about just under 9 miles of local streets, just over 2 miles of major streets. We receive $330,000 a year. That has to cover our snow removal costs, which is a huge expense, as well as the routine maintenance that we do. It's not a lot of money.
Right.
So to put it into perspective, that's why we have to rely on special assessments, because the village simply does not have a whole lot of money to work with for general operations or for streets. So we try to do this the fairest way that we can. And a couple of years ago, we had a discussion on our special assessment policy and why it was the fairest way to do it. And that is, you can choose to pay for it through taxes, where you're paying for your street improvements through the value of your home, which I think we came to the consensus that that's not a fair way to do it. Or you can pay for it through a special assessment based on the linear front footage that you have on your street. So you're literally paying for your own street based on your frontage. And so we had quite a bit of a discussion on that. And if you pay through a millage is for a set period of time. If we run out of money at the end of the 5 years or whatever it is for street improvements through that millage, you may not get your street improved at all. And yet you paid for taxes for 5 years. It's my own opinion, take it for what it's worth, from managing communities, large and small, for almost 36 years. Millages are not a fair way.
Yeah.
I believe you should only have to pay for your own street based on your frontage, not based on the value of your home, but based on the actual benefit you get from your
Right.
street.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of millages either. I got a letter here, was on the desk with a bunch of others, and it was from one of my neighbors that I respect quite a bit, Harry Stephen, and he's been around a while, right? And he just brought up, the last time the roads were done was 20 years ago, and they didn't do special assessment. They did bonds and then spread those costs over 20 years, which is the expected lifespan of the roads, which I think seems like a way that would minimize the impact, spreading that longer term across more people. I don't know if that's something to look into. That's how they did it 20 years ago, and it
That was
felt.
a millage.
That was a millage? Okay.
So you're talking about issuing bonds to raise the capital up front to do the project.
Okay.
But you have to levy a millage to pay those bonds off. So you have to levy taxes to do that. And I remember, because the last time I was here managing the community, we were just ending those payments on that 1998 bond.
Yeah.
So it was a millage.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to go back because I don't think we ever clarified a motion, so I'll see if I can do it a little shorter. So I move that the village administration comes back at the next meeting with more information and eliminating streets based on feedback received from residents here via email and any emails that come in and over the next week, so that at our next meeting, we can have a more focused map that will still include the red area for grant purposes, as well as including in the packet, so you don't have to go search for an estimated cost per linear foot for the project.
I'll support your motion, but I want to clarify it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the village manager look at this project, and he's going to itemize the input from citizens for each street segment whatever he feels comfortable with. But, and then the people will have a chance to put input in within the next week. If you want it to happen soon, they'll need to put their input in immediately. I don't know, do we need to notice that?
Can we have a deadline for that?
That's what I'm saying, do we need to
Yes.
notice input from the
can.
citizens?
I can put a
Darwin?
notice on the website that includes my email and a day and a time, just whatever is appropriate.
We should
Because
put
we have
a,
to make sure we have it for the next meeting.
we need to put another public notice in the newspaper?
Well, we do have an extra Monday in March, so we do have an extra week between meetings.
I think we should renotice this, and with the additional information that they can provide feedback via email or in-person writing, no verbal, and so that, you know, people have opportunity to, more neighbors to gather, to put in, you know, a vote, so.
So would a deadline of March, no, our next meeting will be
April 13th.
13th, so March, or April 6th, would that give enough time then?
Now, do you want me just to notice on the website, or do you want me to notice in the paper? Because the paper requirements, I would have to send them the notice this Thursday for next Thursday.
Definitely the paper.
Yeah.
You want paper?
Definitely,
Okay.
yes.
So
And
that
it's not a
was-
vote, it's his input.
Yeah, it's input, and then
It's
I see a lot of residents here who can let their neighbors know as well.
So end of business day, April 6th?
Yes,
Okay.
That,
yes. And then you support, you said?
if everyone thinks that's, yeah, I'll support unless someone wants to add
I just
something.
got one thing.
Okay, Mr. Danielidis and Mr. Comparoni.
So did your motion comprehend utilizing the grant funding and?
Yes.
And the red roads?
Yeah.
So that, okay.
Mr. Comparoni?
Just to make sure, and I want to know, just this project is all that we're talking about now, nothing about the islands or
Correct.
anything like that?
Just this
Bellevue,
project.
Just this project, okay. Just want to make that clear to people out there.
Any other comment on the motion to come forward at the next meeting and solicit feedback?
Just that, as we grow into this, since it's been 20 years, we might want to, you know, in our committee meeting especially, we might want to address how we're going to deal with the rest of the community. So whatever model we set up now, we're going to have to repeat, so let's be careful.
Any public comment on that motion to come forward, come back at the next meeting with further information based on feedback from residents?
Yes, the pain in the ass guy again, Timo. It's not necessarily about that. Just for clarification, though, the red areas are the only areas that are getting the $300,000 grant, correct?
250,000.
I'm sorry,
Correct.
200. So it's not amortized over all the other properties. It's got to be for the red area,
It has to be only for the red area.
which means the red area people are going to be a lot less costly or assessed than the blue areas,
We anticipate that, correct.
just to be clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. So all those in favor, oh, one more.
So I just have a question on the linear frontage. If you're on a corner lot, do you have to pay for just where your driveway is, or do you have to pay for both sides?
I believe our policy says that if you're on a corner lot, you pay 50% for each side.
Correct.
Oh, it's
Okay.
not the longest
So
side.
it's half for,
Okay.
half for one street, half for the others.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. One coming back here, I think, and then,
I think it's important to talk about how we're paying for it, because we haven't gotten back to getting bonds or whatnot and amortizing over 10 to 15 years, because I think it's a big difference between lump sum. So I think that conversation needs to be talked about with people when you say, do you want it or not?
yes.
Just to clarify this, that we have to respond within the next few weeks in writing.
Correct.
It is what? Could you describe, like, is it, do I want my road repaired or not?
If you
Yes.
support the project or if you don't support the project.
Yeah,
But-
and your
but-
individual street,
Yes.
do you believe that it needs repaving or not? And if you want to put a caveat on there that said, you know, if I have to pay less than this, sure, you can put whatever you want, but it's,
Okay,
does my street need to be repaved or not? And list
Okay.
your streets.
Well, that
'cause-
was where I was
yeah.
getting at, because if there's no dollar signs tied to it, like we said, it's a want, need, make two different.
And I think the
those are
clerk
two
can maybe
different
put
answers.
a link to where we have some of that information already in that notice, so you can
If
look
there
at
is
it.
some,
Yeah.
you know, kind of what
Yeah.
the pocketbook's gonna feel, that will help get more of a sincere answer.
All right, we have a motion and we have support. Is that another comment or just?
Yeah, I just wondered if we could do the project in sections, just like you did with the water, you know, and get grants for each section.
If, originally, my plan was we would take road improvements in smaller
Yeah.
pieces to make it more manageable, to make sure that we had enough money between major and local street funds to pay the local portion, the village's portion, and try to keep the costs as manageable as possible. I think when all is said and done, we will probably come to that conclusion once again that, you know, it has to be a perpetual street improvement program, but it's got to be smaller pieces done over a number of years to keep it manageable and keep it cost-effective for everybody, for the village and for our residents.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and support. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to take a 2-minute recess, so that way if all of you who are just here for the roads can go. Sidewalks, we will be having that special, that public hearing next. So 2-minute recess. necessity for the 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program, District Number 2. Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, members of council, you're scheduled to hold a needs public hearing to receive public comments from affected property owners on the need for the 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program, or SWIP, District Number 2. The 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program involves the repair or replacement of deficient sidewalk slabs within SWIP District Number 2. You've been provided with a copy of the map that shows the 3 districts, including District Number 2. You've also been provided with a list of the addresses and proposed sidewalk repairs and replacements. The purpose of the needs public hearing is to allow property owners to comment as to whether they feel their sidewalk needs repair or replacement. The village charter requires abutting property owners to repair or replace sidewalks. A subsequent special assessment public hearing will be held, which will give property owners another opportunity to comment on the cost of the project and the specific special assessments that will be levied against their properties. And Your Honor, I recommend at this time that you I don't know if, Wes, you have any comments you want to make before we open the public hearing?
Just one quick one. Just
A description of the project?
Yeah, just so everybody knows, DPW was tasked with going out and labeling sidewalks and taking photos of them based on a set of criteria, and that criteria was temporary patches or possesses temporary patches or ramping repairs currently, differences in elevation of 1/2 an inch or greater, broken into 3 or more pieces, cracks that are not tight and well seated, alligator cracking, deterioration in the joints, spalling areas, pitting, or exhibits surface deterioration consisting of several spalling or popping slabs of sidewalk causing a safety concern.
Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Comparoni, support by Mr. Ford. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So the public hearing for the sidewalk, on necessity for the 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program, District Number 2, is now open.
Hello, my name's Nicholas Whelan. I live at 674 Orion Road, and I have 3 sidewalk slabs that need to be done. Now I'm curious if it's my property or the township's property, the sidewalk. I don't know if you guys can answer that now or you gotta wait. So I guess my second follow-up question to that would be, if I have to fix it, there's 2 that are sunken. Can I repair it by lifting them up? There's different techniques with foam to lift them up, and then you can patch them or put patch over them. Same with the cracks. Can the cracks be fixed with just caulk, or do you have to repair it, like something like that?
Could I, excuse me for a minute, can I please, I'm thinking that perhaps we should suspend the regular public hearing rules and address each of the citizens one at a time, because we have visual images of their homes available, and we could talk to each of them individually and hear their concerns, as opposed to trying to document their comments and then going back and talking about each of their situations.
Because it's a public hearing for the needs, not individual properties, I don't know that that's appropriate, because it's a need for the project as a whole, and not individual properties.
Okay.
And so I think I would refer them to Wes, to talk to if they have concerns about individual properties afterwards.
Well, Darwin, we have costs this time. We have specific costs for each home in this public hearing.
I believe these costs were based on last year's contract costs, so they're only estimates. And they were provided for informational purposes, but that's not the purpose of tonight's hearing. We will be going through the same process as with the streets. There will be a separate special assessment public hearing.
Because I believe with the sidewalk program last time, when it came to the special assessments, individual concerns were addressed at that point as well. So, so feel free to, please do share your individual concerns, and those, our DPW director will make note of those issues to look into those with you.
Right, and then once again, if we're paying taxes to maintain our sidewalks and roads, then why do we have to pay out of pocket for something like this?
I will just state, because our charter requires homeowners, property owners to maintain their own sidewalks at their cost. It's in our village charter.
Okay, so if somebody falls because of dilapidation of the sidewalk, I'm
Correct.
liable for that.
Most likely both the village and the property owner.
So shouldn't we both be liable for repairing it?
Not according to charter.
Gotcha. How do we change that?
Vote of the people.
There is a process. Talk to me later.
Okay, and then I was gonna ask what happens if I don't pay for it.
So, yeah, so if you have specific property concerns, please share them, and then our DPW director will take note of those as part of this hearing.
Okay, and then my last question, has residents always been responsible for repairing the sidewalks?
Yes, since 1967, we have not had a comprehensive sidewalk improvement program until, we had one back in, I believe, 1998. We haven't had one since then. We have since reinstituted a comprehensive program for sidewalk improvements starting last year. And we've divided the community into 3 districts, and now we're going district by district on a rotating basis for a perpetual sidewalk improvement program.
Okay, and then if this is approved, we can do it ourselves, right? Instead of hiring a contractor?
You can do it yourself and opt out of the village's project. I can almost assure you that you will pay double the cost to do it on your own, to have somebody, a contractor do it for you on your own. But we can talk more about that. I would recommend you wait until we actually give you your assessment figures to make that decision. And we can have conversations on that at that time. So there will be an opportunity for you. You'll receive a definitive assessment dollar amount. We'll have another public hearing on that, and we can have conversations about what your options are to opt in, opt out.
Right, and if
but I think when you see the numbers, you might want to stay in the program.
So you're saying it wouldn't be cheaper to do it myself?
No, in fact, we heard from probably 4 of the property owners last year where they got their own cost estimates, and they said it was double what the program amount was per sidewalk section.
Flat,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's all I need to know.
Thank you. So remind everybody that during the public hearing too, we're going to collect questions and address them later. I allow that just because I think that's a common question for everybody of that process, but we'll address them afterwards. So more comments on the sidewalk, the necessity for the sidewalk improvement program, District Number 2. Yes.
Hello, I'm property owner 552 Bagley. I just wanted to, I think it's great we have a program now where it's cheaper for the residents to use the government program to pay, because what happened to me, and I want this to be public, is when my sewer collapsed on Lake Street, and it was in the newspaper that I had to pay, that it was already ready, the village was gonna go pave it for $8,000 that I had to pay out of my pocket, not out of taxes, just out of my pocket. I was able to find a private contractor for only $2,000. So that's a huge difference. So I just want everyone to do their due diligence. If you are looking, I mean, the village was gonna do it for 8, I did it for 2. I think that's great, we have a program. And also that certain areas, you don't know the law till you know it, you're liable up until the main for sewers. So for my case, it was $20,000 hit for me, because you're liable, your insurance won't pay for that. So it's something that everyone needs to know, that I should have pressed on changing ordinances and did more, but we only have so much time in our lives. But just want everyone to do their due diligence and look, because you may be able to get it cheaper. Maybe those 4 people didn't find the right contractor. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 18 South Andrews, if you're still looking at those But a couple of things I wanted to go through is, you know, like a lot of our decisions have been out here, have all been on subjective criteria. In other words, we didn't know exactly what we were approving on. It would be nice if this was a little more objective in what we're looking at. You just did a good job, I think, of laying out, you know, half inch and all that. So I was kind of curious because originally I was just going to come here and say, no, I don't need any new sidewalks. And I do have a couple segments that I think are 1998. So you supported me on that anyway. But years before that, I'm a 50-plus year resident. We had sidewalks that were identified for replacement in the original program. I couldn't tell you, it was probably in the late 70s or early 80s, that we had some replaced that were perfectly good as far as I was concerned. And then we had other ones that weren't replaced. And that was done without any notification. Just one day, we had some paint on sidewalks. So from what I'm saying now, it looks like a good program. I just wish it was a little more, you know, criteria. We know what we're going to get, when we're going to get it. So if you're going to identify the sidewalks would be a good thing. You know, because I got people that, you know, we talked about pricing. I know next door, my neighbor, he's already placed a bunch of his and he did it himself. So you don't get any cheaper than that. So unless you find a very expensive place to buy concrete. So that's all I needed.
Thank you. Any other comments on sidewalks?
Hi, Brenda, 172. I know that you guys already went through stage one, but and now we're supposed to move on to stage two. And I know that I've had conversation with you guys about stage one, and if we've missed stage one and stage two, I would just love to tell you I'd be more than willing to help you out with the sidewalk, because I got hurt. And I'd be more than willing to walk and talk and do anything. And, you know, if you want an individual from the village to come in and help you, I'd be more than willing to help. You tell me a spot, whatever, I'd be willing to help. But I just want to make sure that we're learning from the processes that we missed from the first time. Because the first time we missed some really big spots. I'm just going to tell you, it's that house right there. And it's got a big lip like this. Nobody's ever done anything to it. And that's like I was with this gentleman here. You've got to have communication. You've got to have transparency. You've got to have clarity when you're communicating with these people. Because I'm going to tell you, just like they said, they're going to move everybody out of here because you can't afford it. But if we know what we're paying for and we know why we're doing it and we know what the progression is, what is and how much money did you guys roll over from stage one? Oh, you can't answer that? Oh.
We're going to address questions.
Oh, okay. But I'm just
We
saying.
have about $15,000 that rolled over from last year.
Well, that's good, because you actually went out there on a whim and said, people, this is what we're going to do, so it did work. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. These are things that are working, and what are we doing to address that? And what are we moving forward with those things? Because, you know, and again, about my, and I know this isn't right, but about my water bill. I mean, I had surgery, stayed at a friend's, and my water bill went up $9. So, and I've been in here every meeting. I know some of you are new, but since 2012, every meeting on my water bill. I started at $99 and now it's $412. That's a lot of difference, and I've been bitching and screaming and kind of help out and everything, and I'm not getting nothing. Where are we at with the water? What did we learn? What did we learn from stage one of the sidewalks? What are we going to learn, and what are we going to communicate to the rest of the people? We just need to communicate. I don't think people are on the same, we're not on the same level. You can even tell tonight. I mean, people are here all over it. Look, I didn't even know it was the sidewalk when I got up, but I'm just saying, you guys need any help, you just come and ask me, and I'd be more than willing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Comments? Yeah.
174 North Axford. So this is District 2 this time.
Correct.
So it's the green, then District, okay, District 1 was last year, you say?
Correct.
Okay, then it's planned for District 3 next year? Okay, all right, that's all. I'm in District, District 3, so I guess I'll wait till next year. How about if you got a corner lot, how is that assessed? Or just per piece of cement for each sidewalk?
It is per slab that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's charged by slab.
So I could get a double portion, kind of like, more slabs I could get because I got more sidewalks.
You do.
And then,
You do, and I don't think we have the same formula for sidewalks that we have for street improvements, but it's based on, we cost it out on a per slab basis.
okay, all right, thank you.
Seeing no further comments on the public necessity hearing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move. Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we have recommended motion as well under the sidewalk improvement program. One comment I wanted to make, I think, some of the residents in here are in District 3. If you know you have sidewalks that need to be replaced and you don't want to wait till next year, they could contact you to be replaced this year potentially, could they?
They can, if they believe that they are a safety hazard, we definitely want to know about them now. If it's something that does not pose a safety hazard, we will definitely be looking at it next year.
Okay.
Will we, Darwin, will we be picking up any of the missed units from Phase 1? Or you're going to pick up, we went for a little walk and saw a few. Are we going to pick up? Are you going to pick them up though with this?
Across the street.
Huh? Yes. Okay, great. It's a great program. You guys are doing a great job.
I'll move that the 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program, District Number 2, to find that this district as presented is necessary.
Support.
Any further comments from the council? Any further public comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I'll make the second motion to direct the village manager to complete the design, bid, and contract specifications and to competitively bid the 2026 Sidewalk Improvement Program District Number 2 project and to cause to have a proposed special assessment roll prepared based on the bid results.
Support.
Comments?
Just one comment. It's an engineering thing. So as I did my tour of the sidewalks of the village, I noticed that a couple of the new slabs had already heaved up. And I just wanted to mention to you guys that occasionally when you have some old sidewalks like sitting in clay soils or something, and then you put a new sidewalk section in and place sand underneath that sidewalk section, quite often because the entire sidewalk's not under sand, the water will pool under the sand and heave the sidewalk up, where the whole rest of the sidewalk will stay the same. I just wanted to mention that to you. It was a thought I had in my head.
Other comments? Public comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, other items. A, finalize and adopt fiscal year 2026-2027 Village Council goals and objectives. Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, members of council, you're scheduled to review, finalize, and adopt your fiscal year 2026-27 goals and objectives based on the discussions held during the goal-setting work sessions held in January and February. I'm requesting some modifications, and I provided you with notes on those that are, I think, still need a little additional clarification before you finalize the goals. And I provided you with a list of those that council may want to further clarify.
May we go through them one by one with, in an orderly fashion?
I think we can do that.
I was just going to suggest, based on what I'm seeing, I don't think we're ready to approve, and I think we need to spend more time on it. And in the time that we've got left today, I don't think we have adequate time to do it justice.
That's my concern as well.
Yeah, so my recommendation is that we schedule some additional time. I think it's too important to approve, knowing full well that we did not achieve sufficiency, as you've shown here in bullets 1 through 7.
And Your Honor, for those of you who were on council back in 2023 when we were doing goal setting, I had provided you with the SMART goals worksheet that I included in tonight's packet. At that time, the council, I don't think that you weren't familiar with the SMART goals, and I think in an effort to try to get through the goal setting, you decided not to utilize the SMART goal sheet. I included again tonight in the packet in the hopes that maybe it will help you maybe clarify your thoughts as you go through the objectives and to help with further specificity as far as the objectives are concerned.
I'm wondering if council would be fine with perhaps before our next scheduled meeting, doing a 5:30 special meeting to go through those, because I do agree with Mr. Dandelides that there are 7 things in there, and with the remaining time left today, we still have quite a few things on the agenda.
I'd be available, no problem.
I have time available, always available on Mondays, it seems.
Yeah.
So I will move to move this item to our next, a special meeting before our next scheduled council meeting, with time for us to work on them ahead of time as well.
Support.
Any other council comments on that? Public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10B, award of contract Atwater Park Basketball Court Replacement Project, Titan Pavement. Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, council is scheduled to consider awarding the contract for the Atwater Park Basketball Court Replacement Project to Titan Pavement of Waterford, Michigan. The village solicited competitive sealed bids for the project on January 28th, and bids were due on February 19th. A total of 558 companies were notified of the bid opportunity. 93 companies downloaded the bid documents. 7 companies submitted bids. The engineer has provided you with a letter of recommendation on award of the contract. We had postponed action on this item because we had originally planned on having CDBG funding pay for a portion of this project. We needed to get some clarification from county CDBG. We are concerned that utilizing a relatively small amount of CDBG funds for this project would not be beneficial because of the Davis-Bacon prevailing wage requirements. So we intend to seek a reprogramming of those CDBG funds for code enforcement activities, which we can use retroactive back to 2024-25, and the chief is working on that. And we will be, later on on the agenda, you're being requested to schedule a public hearing on the reprogramming. For this project, we are recommending going ahead with the project with funding from general fund to complete the project.
Thank you. Council? Mr. Dandelides.
I am extremely torn on this one. I'm the council rep on the Parks and Rec Committee and want to support, the initiatives of that subcommittee. However, the cost of this has gone up progressively with each iteration, and I am very concerned about spending $58,000 on a basketball court that will be used by, I'm going to say, a relatively small percentage of our population. And when I balance that with the comments that we even heard tonight about water and sewer bills, and which are affecting every resident in the village, and so I'm really torn because I feel like I need to support this. However, I really can't support it from a dollars standpoint in light of the other financial obligations that we have. So this is a very tough one for me.
Mr. Camproni?
Well, it's not tough for me. I don't think we need it. They had one over there that was good. They tore it down a couple times because people from out of town were coming in and abusing it and stuff like that. And I agree with George. It's costing me $2 to flush my toilet. And kids are going to be playing basketball. Now, you'd be better off just putting in some OBD ports or whatever the heck they're called over there. Kids would be just happier with that. I'm not a Park and Recs guy, but it's not for me, it's for the public. And I haven't heard a good thing, or one person actually wanted a new basketball court or in that area. So for me, it's a no.
Mr. Lamb?
You know, you almost know what I'm going to say after listening to those two guys. I never really wanted to spend the money on the basketball court, but I tried to make it work. And we paid for a little design. That design's good for 20 years. That won't change. I really don't want to spend any money on anything that we don't have to spend money on. You know, I just discovered we have a major downtown electrical project that we had to fund. I went and personally walked the entire downtown and looked at every outlet on every tree and every grate, and it's a lot bigger problem than just some plugs. You know, it might last another year. So I think that right now the cost of oil is high, so asphalt prices are way up, and I'm thinking that we can put this off until we have a lot of, the budget thing this year is going to be absolutely horrible. So I'm all for putting this off. It's not going to cause any issues in the community. And so I would say just to put it off.
Mr. Ford?
And I get how difficult the decision is because of money, but I also don't want to give up everything else that the village provides for people to shift money. I'm going to vote for it because of that. I think we take care of all the, water bills, we provide money for that, everything else, but then, everything else is, gone to pot. I want to have a community, a village that people want to be a part of, and people do use that basketball court. They use it now, and it's in terrible shape. I guess my other question on that is if it gets so bad, it's like the sidewalks, there's a liability there if we don't do anything with it. Somebody's going to be up there playing and break an ankle and everything else. I think it's an important thing. I think the Parks and Rec Committee has put a lot of time in looking into this and recommending it. And I think that I don't like going against a recommending body that we put in place. They put the time into it. That's my feeling.
Ms. Mosier?
I agree with George. I'm torn because I voted for it, but the cost keeps going up and up and up and up. And it's going to be used how many months a year? I think it's not something that we need to rush into right now. We have other bigger fish to fry. You heard all the people about the roads. It's just a lot of money for a basketball court, and it went from the one amount up to 40, and now it's almost $60,000. So that is my concern. Is it going to keep going up with the, exactly, the oil prices are high, and the asphalt prices are going to be high, and so I'm really struggling with this because I think that we can put it off. I don't think it needs to be done immediately. That's my 2 cents.
So The basketball court has come around this council for a long time, around the Parks Committee for a long time. And so when we talk about putting it off, that's what's been done for the past. I mean, I volunteered on the Parks Committee for many years before I joined the council, and it was a concern that long ago too. So it's something that has been put off for probably 10 to 15 years already. And when we talk about costs going up, they will keep going up. And when I look at the different bids, they ranged from the bid that we have, the low bid right now, all the way up to $176,000. So the cost is what they have bid right now. And I just don't see how putting it off will do anything except increase the cost further, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I do agree with Mr. Ford about, providing a safe space for kids to play. I actually just ran into somebody on the sidewalk who was on her way to the park, and she was looking forward to getting a new basketball court there someday because her kids like to go play there. I'm a firm believer in that public spaces are not just like optional bonuses, that they're places that are healthy for our community, providing safe spaces for our kids, for our families. We complain about kids getting bored and vandalizing things or being on their phones too much. And this is a way that we can provide space for them to actually go and interact face-to-face with other people, not just via phones, where they can be productive in playing rather than destructive in vandalizing public property. And so I fully support this. I remember one discussion about why can't we just kind of get some of those low-hanging fruit things? And this feels like it's right here. We've already invested a considerable amount of time, energy, and money into it. So let's just get it done and not put it off for another 5, 10 years. I understand the budget concerns. We're always going to have budget concerns, no matter if we do it now or if we do it 10 years from now. They're not going to magically go away. So I'll make the motion to approve budget amendment BA 2026-101 96402 and BA 2026-40102 in the amounts of $29,057 to provide a supplemental appropriation from general fund to the capital projects fund for the completion of the Atwater Park basketball court replacement project.
Support.
Further council comments, discussion?
Well, we could do it for concrete. We could put a concrete slab in there for, half the price, I think. I grew up in Detroit, and, I wasn't much of a basketball player, but the things that we did on concrete. I really, the priorities in this village are misaligned with reality. I toured the parks also this weekend, and we go out to the parks out on the islands have no real amenities. They can't even keep the bushes alive, and it's because there's no water. This project could wait. If you want, we could put a concrete slab out there and save some money, and not, just if you want to do something like that. But we have, special grade asphalt, basketball special grade asphalt and stuff in the bid, and I don't know why we need any of that. So we can revisit this another year and focus on some other projects. So we can revisit this again.
Mr. Camproni.
Has anybody been out there to look at it? Is it a liability? It's a huge liability right now. It's cracked up pretty good.
That's why they're talking about replacing it.
Yeah, and I can help with that. I have walked it also, and there's actually spots that are heaved up and could potentially be something you twist your ankle on. So I do believe something needs to be done from a liability standpoint.
Mr. Sanchez, how much does it cost to scrape that up and dump it and put the volleyball net up?
Basketball.
Volleyball. To just remove the asphalt and if it's damaged?
Time and labor and gas, and fees at the dump. Wow.
2,000? One day? 3,000? Don't know. Can you do it?
I can put it together for you.
Can you do that work, and is it an easy job for you?
To tear up what's there?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And haul it to the dump in your dump truck with your loader and your guys? Okay, that's a question we have available.
Did you have a hand up?
Yeah, it's just sort of echoing some of the comments. I lived right by there. We walked down there with my kids down at Water and throw the ball around at the baseball field and bring a basketball with us. So I get it. It's one of those things, though, to me, it's a big expense. I think there are other pressing needs, even though, yeah, I'd love to have a nice new basketball court. I just wonder if there's other ways to fund it, right? We could put our money towards other things. Maybe there's 100 residents out there that might want to donate $700 each because they are the real passionate ones about the basketball court. You know, like, I don't know, just trying to think of other solutions here. But looking at the bigger things that we need to fund, I don't think I can make this a top priority right now.
Any other council comments? Public comments?
I am Rosemary Ford, 225 North Broadway, and I have been chairperson of Parks and Rec for the last couple of years. Last fall, this was brought up again. As Teresa mentioned, we've been trying to get this done for years. We had said if you're not going to do it, then plow it down. There was one suggestion last fall that, well, I looked into somebody else doing it. If we use cheaper grades, then we could probably afford it. And we all said no, because if we're going to do it, we want to do it right. We want it to last a long time. What I remember is there was a bid as high as $87,000, and obviously I was incorrect because Teresa said there were higher bids. We got this bid in at $58,000. It was a unanimous vote. Let's move forward. Now you're saying let's back up. We've had these water and sewer issues for a couple years. They didn't just pop up last year. They've been here. You guys all agreed, let's deal with them. But there's also things to be done for the community. Either that or all these parks, and we're trying, but we keep getting shot down. The only reason we have a play structure at Greens Park is due to Teresa Rutt and Molly Lalone, because Molly turned Teresa on to a grant from T-Mobile. So we got that money, so we had that play structure, because we didn't have the money, because we have a $5,000 budget, which you guys are getting tired of hearing, but yet you all agreed that you're going to go out and try and help Parks and Rec. You thought that was a good thing to do for the community. Then came Children's Park. The equipment there was so bad, and it's been utilized so often by all kinds of people, village and township and other communities. I've talked to other people that drive in here from where they live so their kids can play at Children's Park. We got that structure because we went to the DDA and they realized the importance of it and the community, so they gave us the money for those structures. Now we're saying and I agree, if we table it, the costs are going to only go up. Maybe having a hard time with it. The water and sewer thing is not going to get solved overnight. Yes, we are all aware that it's a problem, and you are all working on it. But our basic rule that we learned in economics is there is no such thing as a free lunch. So can we give a little to help the community here? And I used to live right across the street from the basketball court, and there were people all the time playing. There'd be men at night playing, using their headlights to play basketball. It's the one good basketball court we have other than Greens Park. You can tell I'm getting real frustrated because this is a thing. We try so hard and we don't get things passed, and it's almost like we asked at the last meeting, and Chief and Wes can attest to this. We said, we understand, we know more than well that we are a recommending body, but if this is going to keep happening, what is the purpose of having a Parks and Rec? And I believe there are some of you on here right now that feel there is no purpose for a Parks and Rec. So then what are you going to do with those properties? So while you've got water and sewer, Yes, we've got sidewalks, yes. It's like having a home. There's always going to be something. We are asking for this, and it's just disappointing because you have all decided, either singularly or you've met at other times, and it's just really disappointing when you've worked so hard on something and you're constantly getting shot down, especially when this got lowered to $58,000 from what it was initially. And I don't know what to tell you, other than it just fries my brain. And we have a meeting tomorrow night, and it's going to be so great to go, well, guess what? We got shot in the foot once again. But yet you all agreed to it last fall, and you all said you wanted to support Parks and Rec more, and you're going to find ways to get money for us. We're not asking for extravagant things. We're just trying to get some things done here, you know, and we're working towards that, and we keep going to you, and we're told, oh, we appreciate what you do. Well, not much in that talk, is there? So you'll have to excuse me, I'm quite angry right now. And you can let it pass, good if it washes over you, but I just have to vent because it really is frustrating. So thank you for listening.
Any other public comment?
Dave Otto, 638 Buena Vista. I've been listening to this Parks and Recs and the basketball since it came up in the fall. I don't think we'd have an issue with any money if we would have followed what George said about finding interest in our monies. And then you really wouldn't be talking about this issue because you have, what is it, $6,000, $12,000 a month. We have Basketball America that's around the corner. I don't know how many people actually play that court, or if you're a serious basketball player, you're going to play at Basketball America. You're not going to spend your time on a court. If the issue is the fact that we're concerned about liability, then tear it down and wait for the proper time to have the right funds. Things change. Our society has changed in the last 6 months. We're all under a lot of different stresses, and I can appreciate the council now looking at the funds that are available. Alex making the comment about flushing your toilet for $2 every time, right? That's the responsibility that we're hoping you guys put in place. No disrespect to the Parks and Recs, but we got a lot of other issues associated with our property values. The sewer and the water is a huge property value issue, not my basketball court, because I can go to Basketball America and play basketball. So I just want to just let you know my thoughts on that item. I can appreciate the parks. They're great, but we got some other bigger issues that we need to address in this community.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Seeing none, Mr. Camperoni.
Yeah, I appreciate Rosemary's input, I really do, and all the hard work that she does, and I do respect the Parks and Recs. But when this was brought to us, now my memory is not real good like it used to be, this was brought up for $20,000, wasn't it, right? It was not, and now it's $7. That's what's kicking me in the kahunas, is that that's a huge, huge difference, and that's the trouble I'm having. I wouldn't have had any problems when it was originally brought to us, but now, man, it's quadrupled in price. And that just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And that's pretty much the biggest reason that I tend to say no. Rosemary did kind of convince me to sway the other way, because what the heck, it's only money. But, geez, OP, it's a big chunk to go for after it was only going to be 20, 30 grand, and now it's 70. That's the reason I was really backing off of it. So when it comes time to vote, I'm going to flip a coin, make it real easy.
Mr. Ford?
I have a coin for you. Got heads on both sides. Yeah, it was cheaper earlier. I don't know that it was as low as 20 necessarily, but it's just going to keep going up. And at what point we go, oh, we'll put it down the road. But again, we always trying to put deadlines on things. So when are we going to look at this, and when are we going to do it? You know, we're gonna have water issues for a long time, and we have a chance to, you know, move some money out of the general fund to take care of this, get it off the table. And let's get it off now, because if money is the issue, it's gonna be a bigger issue next year and the year after and whenever we look at it. I'd like to see it done, and then we can move on and look at other things. Parks and Rec isn't doing new things, they're maintaining the old things. And this is a maintenance issue. Tearing it out, we've already got engineering money put into it, we're gonna spend money to tear it out. No mention of replacing it. If you're gonna put, you know, cement in there, whatever, that should have come up long ago when we were planning this project, not now. You're talking about redoing the whole thing all over again, and it's not worth it. I would like to see it taken care of and get it off the table. Thank you.
Did I see you had your hand up? Or no? Okay.
I just, you know, we can just tear it out and grow some grass and pray for a grant. Maybe we can get a grant. Since we're gonna get a $7 million grant for the sewers, maybe we should go hunt so vigilantly for a basketball grant. I think that's what we need to do. You know, I think although everyone picked on Councilman Danilidis when he started talking about collecting all the low-hanging fruit to pay the bigger bills, I really have looked that over, and I think that if we very carefully analyze the spending pattern, I've said this for many years, we just spend and spend, and there's plenty of money for everybody and plenty of tax capture and 75-25, so we can just spend the money because the money doesn't go to the people, okay? I'm gonna start quoting Marxism pretty soon with you guys because it's gonna take a lot more than my talk to explain about the means of production and the usage of the workers' funds. So the funds of the workers of the village are not being used for the people of the village. Okay, so priorities first, projects second. So I rode along with the basketball court. It would start out very low, then we're gonna do it ourselves, and then it became a big deal. Then we got bids and engineers. It just progressed. I'm ready to just let it stop and move on with some other more relevant projects and save the money. And you know, once we put Mr. Gibb in his office in the basement, okay, and you know, those cost-saving measures like that, we might be able to drum up quite a bit of cash this year to pay for those sewer and water bonds. And so that's why I'm gonna vote to let this project go till a future date.
Mr. Danilidis.
So I truly appreciate what the Parks and Rec Committee is doing. Rosemary, I understand the hard work, but as you and I spent several hours earlier in the week, my focus is on our water and sewer bills. My focus is on figuring out a way to pay for phases 2 and 3 without raising water and sewer rates, because that's the feedback that I'm getting from residents, that we got to do something about water and sewer rates. And that's my primary focus. And I know tomorrow night in the meeting, you guys are going to beat me up. I get it. But that's my focus. That's my priority. And it's just where I'm going.
Darwin, I have a question, and I hope this doesn't take us too much on, further discussion. The Atwater Park lies within the DDA district, and my assumption is that basketball courts would count as infrastructure. It's playground infrastructure. What would it take to use that infrastructure fund, or how possible would it be to cover the portion that has not already been budgeted?
It would take a resolution of both the DDA board and the village council to agree to use a portion of those funds for this project.
Because I think that could potentially be an alternative if we're looking at focusing on water and sewer. We want to make sure our general fund dollars, things like that can go. We do have money available in that 75 infrastructure account that has not been spent, correct?
Correct. We currently have, I believe, $142,000 in that fund.
So theoretically, we could use that fund to pay for this whole project if this council chose that that's an infrastructure project that we would.
Other than we've already agreed that we were using those funds, I don't remember, was the bridge or bank stabilization? We had two things that we said we were going to use those funds for, I believe.
Sidewalks and the Paint Creek bank stabilization.
So interesting idea, Mr. No DDA. We can't recover that money from the DDA for the use on the sewer and water projects, okay? I mean, that's a discussion for our future committee. And the DDA has spent a lot of money of our tax dollars on downtown, spending on the parks and bridges and stuff like that. So since that's money we can't recover for the citizen, I went and walked the banks of the creek. I could care less. It looks beautiful. They have natural banks eroding with weeds and grass. I kind of like to give a very rural perspective. So I'm in no hurry unless there's a pressing, safety issue with the bank stabilization program, Teresa. So based on that, I think I would support a resolution from the council providing, to redirect the bank funds. I mean, the bank, it's always been a low priority. I think the only reason we dumped money on it was because we had to find an excuse to spend the 75-25 money. So to be frank, I would support a motion to encourage the DDA to change that program allocation.
I would slightly disagree with you about the bank stabilization. There are places, especially in Meeks Park, where it's coming really close to the sidewalk that we should deal with, and for other reasons. But I also appreciate the support for, this thought process. Mr. McCleary, how long is that quote good for from, because I'm assuming we wouldn't be able to do that today. We would have to, we wouldn't be able to approve, or could we approve the contract contingent upon a joint resolution?
The bid is good for 90 days from the date that it was, date of the bid opening.
Which was February 4th.
Which was February 4th.
So could we
May,
well, I guess
approximately May 4th.
it would have to wait till our next meeting to approve a resolution authorizing the money to go for that.
We could make
But-
a resolution right now if the council supported it.
Could we do that without having something written down to say, or do we have to have a resolution written out?
Because it has to go to the DDA if we wanted to decide to do that tonight. If we did it tonight, it would have to go to the next DDA meeting, would it not?
For their support, yes.
Yeah,
May we
Yeah,
speak,
Mr.
Mr.
Gibb.
Gibb?
Matthew Gibb, Lake Orion DDA. The next DDA meeting is April 21st. We could hold a special meeting, so you do have a window of time before the bid expires. The way the DDA understands the procedural aspects of this, if the village, through the manager and to the council, elects that this is a project they'd like to fund from the 75-25, you'd simply pass a motion or resolution that would come to the DDA. Our goal is to assure compliance with the TIF. This infrastructure does comply, as we've funded many things like it, as Mr. Lance pointed out. So if you were to choose to move forward, at your discretion, we could put it on for April 21st. I would think would probably be favorably received.
Thank you. So, Mr. McClure, my question would be, should we wait till the next meeting then, if we want to go that route, to do a resolution for us so you could have something written out?
If you wanted to proceed with a resolution tonight, the charter defines a resolution as a motion of the council. So
Okay.
it doesn't have to be something
Okay.
formal, as long as your motion is clear that you are recommending this project for funding under the 7525 fund, and requesting approval from or a similar resolution from the Downtown Development Authority Board. In the amount that we would need, because we budgeted $40,000, would be the difference that I was requesting in the budget amendment, which would be $29,057.
Okay. Then,
You did say, funding the whole project,
we could.
and I think we should just fund the whole project, and then we can retain the compensating funds within the general fund for use wherever we choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So then I will rescind my motion, if you'll rescind your
I rescind my second.
support, and I will make a new motion to make a resolution to, could you state that again, Mr. McCleary? Just a motion to create a resolution to use the 7525 infrastructure fund in the amount of $69,056.20 to fund the Atwater Park basketball court replacement project.
Support.
Motion and support. Ms. Ford.
The way I feel right now, I would say, let it go with your original proposal. People have made it clear how they feel, and my concern is now, is if you take it from DDA monies, there are people on this council that have made it quite clear they are against the DDA and their projects, and I don't want them throwing that up in people's faces saying, well, there's another waste of taxpayers' dollars, because they took 70 Gs out of what we had in taxpayer monies and put it towards a mere basketball court. So don't do it to placate me. I had to vent. You do in your hearts what you feel is best. A lot of you have already expressed it. For the kids that can't have fun and exercise, and it's not around the corner to go to Basketball America when they can walk down the street or walk sidewalks to get there, to go to Atwater Park or to Greens Park. But obviously, as others have expressed, we are in such dire straits in this village. I don't even know how we're functioning here, when we're really not, because we've heard time and again that we do have money. But to hear some of the council members express, it's putting fear into the people. Just like our national government, both sides are doing it. Fear, fear. The water and sewer is going to be ongoing. Do we have to deal with it? Yes, we are. Do we have to deal with some of these other things? But apparently, we can't have any amenities. So we've got to strip this town bare, is basically what a lot of you are feeling right now. So for the people that we already said, hey, yeah, they approved it last fall. We're going to be getting a basketball court there. And then this winter when the bids came in. And now we can say, well, no, they decided against it. Did a turnabout. To Wes, I want to say thank you for all your efforts that you put into it. And you guys go with what you're going to have to go with. Don't do it on a guilt part. I'm doing this right now because I'm angry. I'll get over it. But as far as coming to for anything further, you can even look at, which some of you want to do, is get rid of Parks and Rec, because you're going to save money in all those areas. And that little bit is going to make such a difference in the water and sewer. But if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Some people that are concerned because they bought a home where they bought a home, I hear other people saying we need to do our due diligence. Well, maybe when they bought their home, they should have done their due diligence. But things come up. And even if you did your due diligence, you have unexpected things. Like I said, when you have a home, and this village is my home, things are always going to come up. But please, I don't want it so that the DDA, should they so choose to go along with this, then I don't want it coming back on them that, well, she wasted money again. because you gave it to the Parks and Rec. I don't want to play that game. You're either for it or you're against it, and some of you have already expressed. So please vote and call it a day. Thank you. And I'll take the heat from those that are left on my committee, because there's only 3 others that I have to deal with. But I will also share with them how this went down. Thank you.
Any other public comment? So we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Oh, wait, do we need a roll call? Okay,
Shall we get another opportunity?
fine.
So I think what we got on the table here is a great compromise, and it is exactly what we set the 75-25 up to do. So I think this is a win-win.
All right, roll call, please.
Papachek? Yes.
Ford? Yes.
Mosher?
Yes.
Comparoni?
Yes.
Rutt?
Yes.
Dandelides?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Then I'll make a second motion to award the contract to for the Atwater Park basketball court replacement project construction to the lowest qualified bidder, Titan Pavement of Water for Michigan, in the amount of $57,956.20, in accordance with the firm's bid proposal dated February 4, 2026, and authorize the village manager to execute all necessary documents related to this contract subsequent to the DDA approving the resolution.
Support.
Any council comment, public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we need a roll call for that, since it was money?
We can, yes.
Okay, real quick.
Ford?
Yes.
Mosher?
Yes.
Comparoni?
Yes.
Rutt?
Yes.
Dandelides?
Yes.
Papachek?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 10C, lumberyard at Paint Creek Plan Unit Development Eligibility. Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, members of council, the applicant, the Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority, is requesting a determination of eligibility to pursue development under the planned unit development provisions of the zoning ordinance. The property, historically used as a lumberyard, is located adjacent to Paint Creek and presents unique site characteristics, including proximity to the waterway, potential environmental constraints, and redevelopment of a formal industrial site. These conditions may limit conventional development and may justify flexibility through the PUD process. The purpose of the PUD option is to encourage coordinated site design, preservation of natural features, and enhanced public benefits that may not otherwise be achieved under standard zoning requirements. If deemed eligible, the applicant would return with a formal PUD plan for detailed review. And a determination of eligibility does not constitute project approval.
Thank you. Mr. Lamb.
Yes, I'd like to move to accept the recommendation of the Village of Lake Orion Planning Commission issued at its March 2nd, 2026 regular meeting and approve PUD eligibility for the property located at 215 South Broadway, commonly known as the lumberyard at Paint Creek, period.
Support.
I have a brief 2-minute reading of I supporting this, but I have some concerns of the project, and I would like to air them now. So I've written a prepared statement. So, members of council, I want to begin by saying I do support the use of planned urban development or PUD zoning as a tool. In principle, it is entirely appropriate for a mixed-use project of this nature, and I have no objection to its application on this site. However, my concern lies not with the PUD eligibility itself, but with what is being presented alongside it. We are not simply being asked to consider eligibility, we are being asked, in effect, to approve a conceptual plan. It is that conceptual plan that I'm not able to support in its current form. The original intent of this project was to redevelop the blighted Orion lumber property into a true mixed-use development, including residential, commercial, and public space components. That vision was sound. It balanced economic development with community benefit and relied on partnerships that would bring private investment into the project. However, that original concept was never fully realized. No final plan, no complete cost estimate, no comprehensive budget. Instead, after 4 years, we are revisiting the project with an entirely different concept. The current proposal represents a significant departure from the original vision. Rather than a balanced mixed-use development, the plan now centers on a historic barn, a bike shop, and a trailhead. While these elements may have value, they do not provide the level of economic contribution that this site and this community requires. We must also be candid about the financial realities. Properties within the DDA district only contribute tax dollars based on 1985 values to the general tax base. That means that this project, as proposed, offers limited financial return to the village. Furthermore, the scale and nature of the proposed uses raises a serious concern that this project will become dependent on ongoing public funding to operate. Even with the DDA acting as a landlord, the revenue potential appears insufficient to sustain the development without subsidy. This is a critical point. The purpose of this project was economic development with some public, not the creation of a public-funded and operated facility. There's also the issue of remaining resources. With approximately $2 million left from the original bond, it is unclear how the project as currently envisioned can be completed without additional funding. For all of these reasons, I cannot in good conscience support the approval of the conceptual plan as presented. While I remain open to the use of the PUD zoning, I believe for a final plan, we need a plan that aligns more closely with economic vitality, private investment, and long-term sustainability. I believe we owe it to our residents to pursue a plan that is economically viable, clearly defined, and aligned with the original intent of fostering sustainable development within the private-public partnership. I've shared these thoughts with the DDA leadership, and they have welcomed my input. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, this is a very simple action. It's eligibility for the PUD, and it meets the criteria according to our planners, according to the Planning Commission. And so we can discuss all the merits and different things of everything, but they would still need to come back with a formal PUD plan for review and the approvals and all that kind of stuff. So this is very simple for me today. It doesn't meet the criteria or not.
I too have prepared a few words. I'll be briefer. So I'm in full support of the lumberyard project, and I think it's time we all rally around and support. This will be a great add to our downtown, provide parking, community gathering area, a better link between the Pink Creek Trail and our downtown and green space, to name a few. I'd also like to recognize our DDA Executive Director, Matt Gibb, for his tireless effort and commitment to making our lumberyard project successful. I would go on to encourage those that remain critical of the project to get actively involved in helping to move it forward. There have been and will continue to be countless opportunities to get involved and help. So I will be voting to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission and approve PUD eligibility.
Mr. Camperoni?
Yeah, I just have just to clarify, Darwin, what am I voting for? I'm just voting for the process. I'm not voting for a specific plan, correct?
Correct. You're
So
just
it's
voting on PUD eligibility.
Eligibility.
They were required to submit a conceptual plan to give you an idea of how the property would be utilized to help the Planning Commission and you determine whether overall the concept is something that that meets PUD eligibility, but the applicant must go through a process of submitting a preliminary site plan for the project, and then a final site plan for the project. That goes through the Planning Commission as well as the Village Council. So the concept is just a concept.
Just a concept. So it's not written in stone, it can be changed. He can
Correct.
come back with what, and then we can just say, nope, change it again later on, or something like that. Okay.
Correct. Hopefully, whatever decisions you make would be reasonable and fair, but no, the concept is not something that needs to end up being the final plan for the project. As long as it meets the eligibility requirements, whatever that final plan, whatever the preliminary and final plans are.
Any other council comments? Public comments? We have a motion and support. We had support, right? Yes, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 10D, proposal to update dam emergency action plan, NFE engineers, Mr. McCleary.
Your Honor, council is scheduled to consider accepting and approving the proposal from NFE Engineers to update the dam emergency action plan. This scope of work was delineated in the Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes and Energy, or EGLES, dam inspection report from November 27, 2024. And you've been provided with a copy of NFE's proposal.
Thank you. Council.
It's all gibberish to me. We should just approve. No. The dam is a very important feature to our village. We had several emergencies. We still have some issues. I understand that the DPW is working very hard on bringing the dam into compliance based on the past inspection reports this year. So I fully support getting our plan updated and making sure that dam is looking good. I'll make the motion if you like. I'm so sorry. I was just saying. Okay. God. Where's the motion?
Bottom of 145.
We have so many pages. I'm glad the citizens noticed how many pages there are. Oh my God, come on, 145. The recommend motion number 1, to approve the budget amendment BA 2026101880-01 to provide a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $2,500 for Noack and Frous Engineers to complete the dam emergency action plan, updated as required by the Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes and Energy.
Support. Other council comments? Public comments? Roll call, please.
Pro Tem Ford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Comparoni,
Yes.
President Rutt,
Yes.
Councilmember Papachak,
Yes.
Councilmember Danielides,
Yes.
motion passes.
May I present
Yep.
the second motion? Motion number 2, to accept and approve the proposal for professional services from Noack and Frous Engineers dated December 16th, 2025, to complete the Village of Lake Orion Dam Emergency Action Plan update in a lump sum amount not to exceed $2,500, and to authorize the village manager to execute the acceptance of the proposal on behalf of the village.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Other council comments? Public comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Comparoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Papachak,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Pro Tem Ford,
Yes.
President Rutt,
Yes.
Councilmember Danielides,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. McClary, I'm wondering if we could move the closed session items up. These last two are scheduling, because I know we have a representative from the pedal boat pub here, and I know,
And tours.
and tours, and we're getting pretty late, or, I see tours, maybe, oh yeah, I see, okay. I wonder if we can move to closed session and then reconvene to schedule those other things for the last two.
If it's the
council-
consensus of the council, you can.
If the council doesn't mind.
I move to readjust the schedule to accommodate the guests.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So I will move to, so that means we are bumping up item 15 from closed session to now, and we'll schedule these workshops and hearings when we come back. So I move to go to closed session to consider attorney-client privilege communication.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Oh, that's right. Support.
Councilmember Danielides,
Yes.
President Rutt,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Pro Tem Ford,
Yes.
Councilmember Papachak,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Comparoni,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We'll move to closed session at this time.